hell arrives tomorrow when we bring in the Cardinals.
Mm,
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Broccoli Horror.
hello.
Hello.
We were on a slight hiatus, but we're back. I'm Nick,
I'm Kristen.
I'm Emma.
and today we'll be talking Conclave. But first of all, you guys have any catching up you want to do? Anything you want to talk about while we were away?
It was my birthday this past weekend. Had a
that's true.
little housewarming birthday thing, and it was very cute. It was Nancy Meyers theme, so it was costumes light, if you will. So no one had to buy anything, but there was a light theme for the costumes. Everybody did very well.
Nice.
There was an array from all different movies. It was great. The children came, my nieces and nephews, and they all ate McDonald's off of a curb outside, and it felt like a core summerish memory for them.
Mm.
And it was adorable. And then one of them fell and scraped their knee, which I think is law for children.
It's
like
always
outside.
bound to happen.
It's got to be one.
Yeah, gotta be a boo-boo.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, Wes was pretty good at shooting some pong, if you ask me. But
He was.
yeah, he didn't have a drink. Let's be clear, but he was really into it.
He tried poppy soda. He hated it. With his
Oh,
whole
yeah.
soul.
Which
Kristen, you want to tell Nick about your greatest feat at this housewarming?
me and our friend Brianna, we went 7-0 in pong.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was just sheer dumb luck that we just kept winning. And I think by the fourth win, people were kind of tired of us, but they
No,
somehow still let us go another 3 rounds.
And
then
never
we
defeated.
gave up.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
quit.
No, you gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta stand strong on that. Don't apologize for your wins.
Listen, I don't know.
It was a beautiful thing to see.
Thank you. I'm
It's fun.
so glad to provide that experience for you.
I love the idea of Pong at the Nancy Meyers party. That's a real.
Yeah.
It was a vibe change from the rest of
You have to have one curveball in there.
We had
Mhm.
2 tables with really nice blue and white tablecloths, and then the pong table was just a regular folding table, no decor. It knew
Yeah.
what it was.
I
Oh,
wish I
there was a
could've made it.
ping pong table too.
There was a miniature ping pong table.
Mm-hmm. I do have another not random. This is consequences of my own actions, I'll say. I usually put like box dye in my hair over the highlights that I have because I don't like blonde highlights on me for some reason. I just
Mhm.
make them red. And I picked a new box dye that I was like, this is great. And what I usually do is I put the box dye over my entire head. And then because my hair's so dark, it just tints my entire head. This time I was wrong because I picked a different box dye. And now I look like Poison Ivy when I put my hair down. And my hair is so red. You can't see it in this light, but my hair is so red right now.
Can you
It's
do a
kinda
hair
scary.
reveal?
I mean, sure. I mean, you can see it kind of in the light.
I
It's
can see a
like
little red. It's extra
that's
red.
that's my whole head. Like hold on. My hair's like tightly in a bun.
Take it down. Take it
Take it
down.
off. Take it off. Like it's really red. It's
I already can tell I love it.
Yeah, I
thank
like it.
you. But was not the intended effect. I'll just like look at that.
Oh yeah, that's red.
crazy.
That's very red.
For our listener, if you can't tell, it's red.
It's red.
If it's not coming through on the mic.
I came out of the bathroom and Pat was like, "What are you copying me for?" He's like, "I know you like redheads, but damn."
And for the listener, also red.
Yeah,
Also red.
looking
Nick,
forward to it.
How are things in your neck of the woods? We are sad you couldn't come to housewarming.
I know, I was sad too, but I've been working the last couple weekends because we had graduation at UNC. So I've been covering that.
Unk
Which wasn't
graduation.
what?
As you just said, Unk graduation.
Oh, graduation. Yeah, it's a they did that thing at work where everyone's like, it's gonna be so bad, and then it's just fine. It's just work.
I'm gonna fail
Um,
this test.
Gets an A.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything was fine, but it's just been boring because that's really what I've been doing. But the weather's been phenomenal, and we're getting to the point where it's starting to crack, and now the humidity's creeping in, and I'm not ready for it. But we do have a beach trip coming up this weekend.
Oh,
Nice.
which beach?
Topsail Island.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know any of the
her.
Carolina beaches, so I'm very excited to get to know them.
Yeah, now you're not
Nice.
just a tourist.
I know I keep calling it the shore, and people are like, "It's not the shore."
Yeah,
gotta
what is
stop.
that, dog?
Can you
Yeah,
swim in the water this year, early in the year?
Yeah, it's already pretty warm. I can't believe I don't. They say it's warm. I don't know if I believe them.
The things I would do to swim in an ocean right now.
I'll have to report back.
And she
I don't
will.
I really haven't been to anywhere. Like I haven't even been to the Delaware beaches, Emma. I've just like only really
Oh.
been to the Jersey Shore.
Well, this September, Delaware beaches.
Big
Labor Day.
It's all Atlantic City. I mean, Atlantic City.
What?
Atlantic
Whoa.
Ocean. Cut that.
Whoa. I was like, I did not know you had that in you, Delaware.
It's all Delaware Beach is famously exactly like Atlantic City.
It's
Everywhere
it's
you
all
go.
just
Famously.
Atlantic City.
It's
Everything is
all-
just Atlantic City. Speaking of everything being Atlantic City, you guys ready to talk about Vatican City?
Of course.
Yes, these messy bitches. I have been waiting to talk about them all week.
Have you guys read the Letterboxd reviews for Conclave?
I have not.
No.
We'll hit a section on it at the end because they're phenomenal. But yeah, it's really just about like these these cardinals are spilling tea.
They are. Oh, so good.
So this movie, it felt like it had to be the choice because what unbelievable timing. Has there ever been a movie that hit at the right time more than this movie? It feels
Oh
like
my
everybody, I mean, so many people had already seen it because it was, Best Picture nom, big deal, but it also felt like it became like this second life that's like obviously going to happen with everything that's happening with the Pope. Everything that's happening with the Pope dying. I don't know why I'm dancing around.
He's got a lot going on.
All that stuff he's got going on.
Yeah.
But
God rest his soul.
may he rest his soul.
Yeah, I guess.
Do
But
you think it would have won Best Picture if the Pope had died pre-Oscars?
Oh my God.
Are we ready? Are we ready to get into some analysis of this movie? I don't think it would have won Best Picture because I did not like this movie.
Started strong.
I didn't have that strong of feelings about it right after I finished it, and the longer I've distanced myself from this movie, which is only like 24 hours, the more I'm like, what the fuck was that? I described it. I was texting my friend about it, and I described it as like it feels like when a 6-year-old's telling you a story, and he's like, and then it just keeps telling you like details that are like spiraling out of control as the longer they go on, and he's just like not tying his thoughts together, and it's just like going down a crazy path that you're not even like following anymore.
Can I hit you with a point though?
Yeah,
That's what the Bible is.
Oh my God.
Hey, that's all of Catholicism, baby.
you should read my scathing review of the Bible.
I would.
I loved it so much.
I think that I was trying to take it too seriously, and this movie is actually silly goofy, but it's like I went into it thinking I was going to get like the drama of all dramas, and I think the first half of the movie is really good, and I think the second half of the movie just like gets so insane that I couldn't even I didn't know where I was anymore.
I think that I loved it because past couple years, as you guys know, with my becoming a Survivor fanatic, I've also just started to love reality TV. And I really think that I was viewing this as like a super highly produced, gorgeous, incredible original score reality show that I got to watch. And it was incredible to me for those
Vanderpope
reasons.
rules.
But oh my god. Yes. Yes.
I feel like middle of the road on this because
Oh, I love this. I love it. Perfect. The trifecta.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It happened and I watched it, you know?
All right, let's fight so much the rest of this episode, shall we?
Yeah, you two can duke it out and I'll be the peacemaker for the episode.
No, you have to fight equally as hard for it being medium.
Mid. I honestly, the beginning of this movie I thought was really just like, this movie, it's such a joke when I say this because I don't know anything, but it's so like, it feels so technically sound. Like everything right away, you get these like beautiful shots of, you know, these marble walls in the back, and the lighting's like perfect, and you're getting these like, they linger a little bit, and then, you know, you find out right away Pope's dead. Never meet the Pope. Dead boy. And you're like, wow, this is super intense. And then John Lithgow shows up, which you know he's in the movie, but it's always a shock every time.
He's always somehow like doing a good job, but so out of place. He never looks right.
Yeah.
His acting is not bad. He is physically looks incorrect in almost every movie that he's in.
For me, he's like just constantly, he was never better cast than Third Rock from the Sun, where he's just like an alien on Earth that's like playing a human, and it's like he's doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like he's an alien who was studying Americans and British people at the same time and doesn't know how to decipher between which dialect to use, so he uses a mixture of both. And so he never sounds like he belongs in one or the other.
He's a third-party observer.
And he's going to be Dumbledore in the HBO Harry Potter reboot.
Yeah, he's going to go, some of you may die.
And they were
That's
like,
a risk.
And they were like, how could you support J.K. Rowling? And he was like, here's the thing. I don't give a fuck, actually. And here he is as a cardinal.
He's like Jeffrey Tambor with less gravitas, I feel like.
I like that we judge older men in degrees of Jeffrey Tambor.
I'm not even confident that I say his name right half the time, but that's every time it comes out, I'm like, I think it's Tambor, but I've committed to saying it enough now that that's how we're saying it. And yeah, everybody is, if you're gray and your face sags a little bit and you're a man, you're Jeffrey Tambor, and somewhere on the spectrum.
I see what you're saying though.
So outside of John Lithgow, the first, I don't know, 15-20 minutes of this movie, it feels like, are like really just setting tone. You don't really gain that much information on who's who or what their job is, but you really get a feel for what it's going to look like, this movie, and what the score is going to sound like. The score is awesome. I don't know that this like first score? I don't even know, introduction, you get away with it without like it sounding so cool and like fitting the moment so well.
I don't think the whole movie gets away with it without the score.
Yeah, it has moments where it goes away a little bit, and then when you hear it again, you're like, fuck yeah, because it comes back hard every time. I love like this beginning part. You get through, you like kind of get to see your cast of characters a little bit, not really get to know them, but you get to see who's who. And they start prepping the space for the Cardinals to come in because the Pope's dead, have to have their conclave. and you just immediately see the outfits are incredible.
Oh yeah. The
There's
Catholics
this-
know how to dress. I'll
And-
give them that one. And stained glass, of course, but
The
they know how to
Catholics
dress.
know how to serve charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, if you know what I mean.
That's this whole movie was drag. They're in drag.
Yeah.
They're performing. They're performing for each other in this conclave, even though no one can see it. It's a performance. It is drag. They're wearing like 18-piece costumes.
Yeah. Which is insane, by the way. For the church, it just, I mean, if anything, it also shows in a grand scale, just like the power of religion, especially with the money that the Vatican has.
Mhm.
I had to bite my tongue on the wordplay with the word conclave.
No.
When you said that.
Yeah.
It was I just want you to know how strong I was in that moment.
Yeah.
We're proud of you.
There's no scene better in this movie, and it's just a little side shot where it's just the Cardinals coming in just fully dripped out, smoking their cigarettes. I was like, this is peak Italian. This is Roman Catholicism right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We
Once
love
we get
Roman
through-
Catholicism.
Once we get through all that prep, and they have a little fun banter here where you kind of get to see everybody's personalities, but it's kind of the last time they're really goofing around. It's like the last time you kind of are like, oh, are they gonna have fun little quips this whole movie? And the answer is no.
You're like,
The
they're
answer
just
is
silly
absolutely not.
goofy.
The answer is that they did that at the beginning to show like his little bit of character when he's not having a full-blown panic attack, Lawrence. The rest of the time he's not goofing around.
They don't have fun for the rest of the movie.
And
Yeah.
my eminence is horrified for the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
For some groundwork, it's Lawrence is Fines, Bellini is Tucci,
The
and
two.
then Lithgow is Tremblay. The other main players that you're gonna get are Benitez, Tedesco, who's the Italian, and I didn't know these actors, so that's why I'm not naming them. And then Adeyemi. I like saw their names, I looked them up, but I didn't recognize them.
They're there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll get to them just for the groundwork of who's who in this. After we get through that, you get to finally start some of the drama here. When you learn that Lawrence, his last conversation with the Pope was asking to be dismissed. He has what they kind of tongue-in-cheek reference throughout the movie as a crisis of faith. They don't really want to talk about it that way, but he's comfortable with it. Everyone else seems to find a way to dance around it, and he's nervous to new people to talk about it that way, but that's really what it is a crisis of faith. And then you get the big bombshell that his last conversation with Tremblay, he dismissed him.
The Pope, not Lawrence.
Yes, the Pope dismissed him in his last conversation before dying. That's a little bit of hearsay from a very drunk man.
Yeah.
But seems true. Feels plausible.
Yeah, it doesn't.
We don't really question it.
You get a weird vibe off Tremblay the whole movie. And yet again, you don't know if that's just Lithgow being Lithgow or if that's.
I gotta say, Nick, it's Lithgow.
Really? I've always thought it was Lithgow.
I don't know what I thought actually. Lithgow?
Oh, maybe I'm coming in too strong.
Now we'll
I
shift.
might be wrong.
I would.
Now I need to look up the phonetics.
Yeah, now we gotta figure out. Maybe I came in too hard with my
Oh
pronunciation.
no, you're right.
Yes.
No, you're right. Like Van Gogh.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
there
so
we go.
smart.
I'm
so
so sorry.
My apologies, everybody. I was concerned about Tambor, and now
I
I was aimed in the wrong direction.
And I'm always concerned about Rafe Fiennes' pronunciation of his name.
Yeah.
You notice I just said Fines earlier. I just danced around the whole thing.
I said Ralph so confidently for so many years.
Well, because before he wasn't like always correcting people, I feel like. Or people didn't care as much, maybe. I don't know.
It wasn't a thing.
And now he's Rafe.
Now they're
Allegedly.
rafing about him, you know? Whoa. Oh, yeah, some double blame.
Rafe, yes. During that Tremblay conversation, we kind of get this weird little side move where some guy just shows up and says he's a cardinal.
Yep.
The guy is he's from Mexico City, but he is a cardinal from Kabul. Did you guys have first impressions here? What did you think of the Tremblay situation? What did you think of Benitez?
I kind of believed the Tremblay thing right away because I was just sort of like, I don't know, even if this guy was drunk, like they're so afraid of saying anything out of turn the whole movie. It's like their biggest fear is saying the wrong thing. So I felt like it was true because I don't know why else he would say it. We don't really know that character. He's like sort of an NPC. Like we don't get too many looks into who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Benitez, I didn't have too many thoughts about him right when he came on. He seemed like a chill guy.
You trusted him that he was like not just scheming to be there, that he was supposed to be there.
I did.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't really care. I was like, all right, Queen, go off. Like, if you're not supposed to be here, good for you for making your way in. You know, I was like, anything to amp up the drama here. I was like, all right, get it. And also, talk about a title card. Cardinal from Kabul.
Yeah.
Come on. Write that on my gravestone.
Resume builder.
Yeah.
He this goes into my feelings about this movie, but I was just like, how is this how people can just get into Conclave? Like how is this?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like you just show up and you say it and it's chill. That's how it goes.
And you have the costume.
As long as you're fitted.
Yeah. So if I want to cosplay a cardinal, I can get into a Conclave? That's what you're telling me?
It
Look,
seems like it.
with the right attitude, you can get it done.
All right, I'm writing that down for future reference.
After Benitez is introduced, we get the dining scene, which I love in this movie. All the food scenes are really fun. They take the time to show them preparing the food. They show them, gathered around eating, which it feels like is like the number one time that they really socialize with each other. Because it feels like everybody's so isolated in this movie otherwise outside of the dining scenes. But even in that scene, we learn who Tedesco is and how much of a dick he is. But he highlights that they're still divided even in those times because they're all split by languages. And he talks about how he wants to go back to the Latin origins here.
Yeah. Talk about an old head, you know?
Yeah, you get to see the like sects here where it's like sects. Sorry.
Oh my god, talking about sex in the Catholic Church? Nick.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough movie for hottest. Stanley Tucci's supposed to be the sex appeal of this movie, and he's not an attractive character.
Guys, I did not even think about who's hottest for this movie.
Tough choice. Oh,
my lights just flickered.
Is there a storm?
It's the Catholic Church hearing you talk about who's hottest in Conclave.
It's Pope Francis.
They finally found out I left the church.
Oh my god. They're like, you guys can't talk about this movie.
God, I'm sorry.
Are you there, God?
The sects.
The sects, yes.
Nope, it happened. Did you see it? You said it again, and it happened again, Nick.
I put a clapper on that light for when I say that word.
I'm scared.
That was a little spooky. I saw it both times.
Okay. Don't say that word again. Even if
I
it
won't.
was
Spell it.
SECT.
The division that we see is like very apparent in the, and it feels like this was talked about a lot with like the actual Pope selection that's going on now, is like, are we getting a traditional Pope or more conservative Pope, or are we getting a more liberal, modern, you know,
Progressive.
progressive Pope? Thank you. They really make it clear their opinion on which kind of Pope they would want from this movie. They make
Yeah.
this dude seem like such a dick.
Yeah, Tedesco is
To dick so.
truly
To dick suck.
couldn't have stop. My light's gonna flicker again.
The whole power grid goes down.
No!
But yeah, they make him the clear enemy of this movie
Mm-hmm.
instantly.
I hate it, but he has something kind of cool about him.
Yeah, because he's the bad boy.
He's
He's
got
got
like
that appeal because he's
he does.
bad.
He's a stage presence.
Yeah, he's got an air about him.
He's got that bad guy riz.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think part of it too is that he's up against Tremblay, who I just really hate.
He's the most booba person that's ever
Not booba. Oh my god.
that's ever been. For the listener, if you don't know, just look up Kiki Booba. We can't get into it right now. You'll get it.
I thought you meant like the toy, the booba, for a second. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my god, they were like terrifying alien toys that were really popular. I also know what you're talking about with Kiki Booba, but I'm talking about the popular. Oh, it was also a television series. Sorry.
Booba. What a common word.
Hold on.
I'm picturing Gumby.
They look like this.
Oh, they do look booba in the Booba Kiki debate.
I've never seen those things in my life.
Me neither.
All right. I'm going to go, actually. So, thank you.
This is Bradley Upper Crust all over again.
Hey, people agreed with me.
I was gonna say, the thing is, you're right.
Yes.
Thanks.
After the dining scene, which looks like just so, I really love the way the dining room looks. They use the silliest little auditorium for the next scene.
Oh, yes.
I was really like, what are we doing in here? What? After just a beautiful little dining scene, and then you just cut. Oh, okay. Guess we're in a fun house now.
Yeah, with a little, just weird little spotlight on them. It's very flat for an auditorium. It's a very strange little space.
It's like a black box theater almost.
It kind of is. What do you think its everyday use is?
I couldn't tell you.
I would say mostly none.
Like NUN.
Wow.
None your business.
Yeah.
Guys, the wordplay this episode so far, incredible. Probably our best.
It's really, our Catholic guilt really brings it out of us.
Oh.
In this auditorium scene, you start to like get Bellini really showing you what the division looks like and how serious it is within these cardinals and within their ranks, that like it's almost reminiscent of, I'm sure, most countries' politics, but to us and to me, it just feels like reminiscent of American politics, where it's like,
yeah,
that other option is like both sides just being like, the other option is so detrimental that you may not think it's perfect, but this is what we need to do.
Yep.
It's very extremist.
Yeah, it's got to be one way or the other, and there's no middle ground here. And but my big takeaway here was Stanley Tucci's head was made for this little hat. It fits
Yeah.
so perfect on his bald head.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
I
I gotta.
go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, it made me think of like how weird I would think it is for Stanley Tucci to have hair. You know? Like,
It wouldn't make sense now.
it wouldn't. It's too late.
It's who he is. I was gonna
But-
say I don't find him like now he's become like a sex symbol the past few years.
Yeah.
And I heard him once in an interview about it, and he said that he wears clothes really well, and he thinks that's part of the reason he's become a sex symbol.
I'm
And
glad
it
he's
is-
self-aware.
And it is interesting because he is not sexy in this movie when he's in his little roby robes the whole time. And it's because he's not showing off that figure. And it's just gone. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Those are my Tooch thoughts.
Straight from the
trying to
Tooch.
I'm trying to think of like who in this movie would play a role, and I'd be like, yeah, they look fine.
in this movie's costumes.
In the whole, yes, the costumes and just the context of this movie, like
I think that's the point, though.
Andrew Scott from Fleabag. I mean, the hot priest in Fleabag. He transcends.
yeah, but Black's different.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't a cardinal.
That's true. I think he could still rock it though if he was that character. Just dropped in.
Okay. Yeah, but that would imply that the Cardinals would have to be younger, and they're all just old white men.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, Adeyemi.
Yeah, I know. I
It's a
said
tough storyline.
okay. I'll say mostly all old white men.
After the little auditorium scene there, where Bellini kind of shows he kind of tells Lawrence to, even though he's not actually campaigning for himself, he kind of says, shit or get off the pot. There's no like just taking votes, because all of this, every vote matters, because it's going to start to swing things one way or the other. Lawrence sees this, and his response is to kind of, I don't know, maneuver in a way to take out Tremblay. So he immediately goes to him and is like, what was your last meeting about with the Pope? And Tremblay denies everything vehemently. And no one's ever seemed more guilty in the history of of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I didn't think it was true before, immediately confirmed with his reaction.
What? Me?
It makes you think, like, as a character, how did he get this far? You know? How? Because he just seems like a strong gust of wind would blow him over.
A strong Kiki could take him out.
Exactly. It would rip off his chin. I don't know.
What shit?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not a character that has, like I said, Tedesco seems cool almost in a way that you would never want to hang out with him, but something about him is like
He's
somewhat alluring.
imposing.
Yeah. There is nothing about Tremblay that you're like, this is a good redeeming quality that I like about you.
He's like the substitute teacher that all the kids would like beat up essentially throughout the day, and then he would go home and cry.
Oh, that's sad.
That's just like the vibe he gives off to me.
How
Maybe
I
that's
see
why
it
he gets
is
votes.
Tedesco in a giant church would not need a microphone and like would command the room.
Mhm.
Tremblay would really need a microphone.
He would tremble.
Yeah.
Oh. Definitely. They just leave you with this like pure obvious guilt, and then it's just like, okay, let's get to day one. It's like nothing started yet.
Yeah. You spend all that time and you're like, oh, we just haven't even started yet.
We're here now, and it opens with Lawrence giving the first like really moving speech of the movie, and the first really moving moment, where he talks about And it's really plays into what his character has been dealing with, and it's about how the biggest sin is certainty. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and how like doubt is an important thing to feel. But I don't know, it feels pretty for him just being like an overseer, it feels pretty pointed. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it's like a neutral speech. It feels like he knows what he's doing. Which is kind of a theme throughout this movie with Lawrence, where it's like he's saying he's neutral and he's kind of staying out of it, but he's making moves in a way, even if he's not consciously, even if he says they're for good reasons, he's kind of throughout the movie just like making his own little chess moves.
Yeah, he is very much this whole movie giving like the most Jon Snow energy the whole time.
Yeah.
Like he even says, "I don't want it," which is Jon Snow's tagline basically in Game of Thrones, and how he just is in a mess of people with huge ego and huge ambition, and he's just trying to put out every fire that arises. And he
so
picks his
wild.
name as John.
Yeah. I was gonna say, and it's so wild how this movie ends with Bran being king.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally.
Oh my fucking god. Wow.
Yeah, so he gives that whole speech. He like has a quick side convo where he sends the one guy out to just like look into Tremblay more before we get that first vote, and then showing that, you know, at that point I was like, thank God, because there was a second where I thought he just wasn't going to follow up on that at all. But he does. And the first ballot, did you guys have any clue how it was going to come in? I felt like I saw all this politicking, but I had no idea how anyone else felt other than our main characters. Like, I didn't know how the rest of the room felt at all on these people.
No.
No clue.
It felt like just a like preliminary kind of check everyone's levels vote.
Yeah.
I was
just like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just like, I don't even know who the front runner is at this point, like, at all.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say it's like if you're talking Survivor terms, it's where before the elimination, all the team members are going around saying who they're voting for to each other to feel each other out. That's what this part felt like.
Yeah.
What, like pre-tribal council when they're all
Yes, yeah.
They're all politicking on the beach. Yeah.
Some gamesmanship going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who's Boston Rob voting for? I need to know.
Boston Rob is definitely a Tedesco guy.
Totally Tedesco.
And they would give camera and be like, I hated that dude. I felt like, so it comes in and it's like, I think it's Adeyemi Tedesco, who we didn't even touch on Adeyemi yet. You don't really get any of him up to this point. He's just another pope. Another pope.
Another pope.
We got a room full of popes, and they're all voting who's the best.
Have you guys seen Two Popes?
No, I didn't watch Two Popes.
Just like I don't know. This movie got like a lot more hype, but that movie was just I thought better. But we'll save that conversation. We'll table it.
Well, they didn't make it in a year. The real Pope died, so that's on them.
Hey, this was technically made last year.
Yeah, but close enough.
My biggest takeaway, like, even though you get all these like higher votes, it feels like, one, you see that Lawrence gets votes and he's like, what, me?
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
And then Benitez gets a couple votes, which
that's surprising. And they weren't showing him on camera. Like, no, when they showed the votes, they showed every cardinal that got votes, and then they didn't show him.
Yeah, which made me. My note at the time was Benitez is low key, high key, kind of sus.
Yeah.
So it felt like they were trying to make it under the radar, but how under the radar they were making it made it
over the radar.
Very suspect.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that I was still confused by names during the first vote, and I didn't quite know who Benitez was. So I was just like, oh, that's just some random guy that we don't have to care about that's getting a couple.
As soon as in the first like 5 minutes of this movie, when everyone was calling each other Eminence, I just went in my phone and wrote down the actor's name next to their name in the movie, so I could just have some point like frame of reference. Because I
Yeah.
was like, this is not going to help me at all.
That would've
Everyone's
been-
Eminence.
Yeah. That's actually what Emma is short for. Fun fact. It's my full
Oh,
Wow.
of course.
name.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
It really suits you.
Eminence McCoy.
Your Eminence McCoy.
McCoyanence. Sorry. They they kind of slowly keep pulling this Tremblay string as we go here, where it's like I said, he sent that guy out to check on him, and you're kind of getting information like coming back, and you kind of, the question isn't really at this point whether he was dismissed, whether because he, what you assume is because he did something very wrong and he's a bad person, but it's more of, is he going to get away with it? And they're kind of showing you more as like a, feels like an episode of Law and Order, where they're like trying to unravel this, and you know the outcome, but the outcome doesn't matter. It's like a courtroom drama.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
You have to pin him and nail him on it more than it is whether or not he did it.
I don't know why I felt like in my head I was like, maybe he just like made a really bad mistake. Like, I don't know why I was, maybe it's just because of John Lithgow of like not believing he could do something sinister.
Yeah, capable of evil.
Yeah, because again, it's that substitute teacher vibe that I'm like, well, maybe he just put out the wrong lesson plan, you know? Maybe he did the wrong lesson for the day. That doesn't seem like grounds for firing, but that was what was going through my head in this moment.
I thought he was sus the whole time.
Being conniving is a Kiki trait.
It is. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a Kiki myself, so I can say these things. After this, we get like a real look into, it's kind of the first time like Benitez is being introduced. He did that first prayer at the beginning, which I don't know, was okay, but my takeaway was kind of, it was just longer than it was anything that moving the first time he spoke. But here he kind of tells Lawrence, you're the only person here who really is deserving of being the Pope. And you're kind of getting an insight into like his I don't want to say his innocence, but which sounds corny now.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. I don't want to say his innocence, but it's like his, I don't know, his like, he hasn't been there and done it, so he doesn't feel like he's been harmed by it, where he's like kind of all of us seeing it the way that we do, where it's like, there shouldn't be all this politicking. It should just be the person who doesn't really want it. That seems like a decent person.
Yeah.
But Lawrence goes on to explain to Benitez, I've been having a crisis of faith and that I don't want to be Pope. And Benitez is kind of like, sucks, dude. You're going to be Pope.
Yeah, not very supportive.
No.
Or the most supportive.
Supportive in the wrong way, in my mind. Dude's trying to confide in you, and you're like, this is just selling your case a little more for me. I don't know.
Yeah, everything you're doing is making me vote for you harder.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like kind of showing the opposite side of it, where Bellini's kind of been like harmed by this system, and he becomes so political that he starts to turn on Lawrence. He's like, I need you to stop getting votes. I need you to beat people up, basically, and get them to stop voting for you.
I need you to kill someone.
I need you to commit murder. But despite this, we like launch into a sequence of votes where day 2 and 3 come fast, and Lawrence and Benitez both gain votes from day 1 to 2 and day 2 to 3. But the thing you really notice on day 3 is that Adeyemi takes a commanding lead on day 3, and they do not let that last long. At any point in this movie, did you guys feel like there was any chance Adeyemi was going to be end this movie as the Pope?
I want to say no, because just by movie length standards, he took the lead too early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like it wasn't going to last.
Yeah,
didn't
if we
give
were
him
going by
enough-
movie logic rules,
Yeah.
I would have said no.
They just didn't they didn't even try to make it seem like he was a real player in this before
Mhm.
thrusting him into this role that was clearly just for the sake of the plot, like a sacrificial lamb almost. That was just we got to get somebody up and down to show how this works.
Yeah.
They use a whole plot line here that's just him with a. This is where I think the movie starts to turn for me, where
You
I
stopped
started to
loving
lose
it.
I started to lose it a little bit. It felt like I had it on a string, and then it just started spinning out of control. Adeyemi, this girl shows up at the Vatican,
Mhm.
and we find Adeyemi throws a fit. Everyone's kind of like, "Whoa, dude, chill out." And we learned that the girl Lawrence does this whole quote unquote investigation that is mostly just telling a nun to go away,
Mhm.
telling Sister Agnes to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he learns that the girl, is it called an affair? I don't know what it is when you're a priest, but Adeyemi slept with her and they have a child together.
Mhm. Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, you can't be Pope and have a kid. You just can't.
Yeah, he comes at him in a way where Adeyemi's pleading with him personally to let him still be Pope, and he's like, "Dude, you're not gonna be Pope."
I don't know what to tell you. Oh my God, Lawrence is so tired. Lawrence is like, let me go to bed. I
Yeah.
can't deal with these messy people anymore.
I'm tired of these bitches. I swear to God.
He gets
I
more
love how-
wrinkles the whole time. Like every scene, he looks 10 years older.
He ends it looking like a Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just dude. He's listens and he hears him out, and he's like, "I think you're a decent person, and I know this was just a mistake, but you're not gonna be Pope."
I don't know. He's like, I can't. I don't know why we're having this conversation any longer.
Go to bed.
Get out of here.
The next ballot absolutely reflects that.
Mhm.
Adeyemi's just not even relevant anymore.
Mhm.
Tremblay and Tedesco kind of cement themselves, while
Yeah.
the harder core liberals really split themselves between an increasingly small gap between Lawrence, Bellini, and Benitez.
Yeah. Nobody likes Bellini. Like that campaign for Bellini never really took off.
Mm-mm.
No, I feel like it feels like he's in a weird spot where he's it clearly is supposed to be from their camp, Lawrence, but he doesn't want it. So it's Bellini's trying to step into that role, and people are still if
Don't
it's not
see it.
Lawrence, I don't care about somebody from this camp really winning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lawrence is there's a whole plot line that starts here where they just I don't know, have bombings going on outside in the
Mhm.
atrium.
Yeah.
Not atrium, but the
Oh,
square.
that was so good. You guys didn't love that part?
I just I don't really understand why this is here.
I just kind of was like, yeah, I guess. All
Okay.
right.
They kind of tie it in later, and they use it, but anyway, for the sake of this part, it's Lawrence is really stuck between trying to learn more about it and not wanting because he's still a part of this conclave. He's like, I can't have all this information either because I
Learn
can't
more
be
about
impacted
what
by
the
it.
bombings or.
Yeah, what's going on outside. So he kind of makes a decision like, I don't want to hear about it. This is not the one that happens in the room. This is just like outside still.
Oh, I jumped ahead. My bad.
No, it's fine. I mean, I don't remember the exact progression, but I'm pretty sure this is just the one that happens outside. When they just have like the little flicker. But the really important thing is Lawrence like separates himself from that situation, but also like, and says like, I can't be involved in all this mess, but then immediately turns around and goes right to Tremblay.
Yeah.
And calls him out like full force.
Messy queen.
Yes.
And that was right. Like, it was pretty much because Bellini was like, we need to back Tremblay. And Lawrence was like, I fucking hate that dude. Like, do not make me do that.
He said, let me tell you why.
I do not like that man. And he's right. That conversation that they have is so funny. When they're like out in the hallway and Bellini's like, we have to go for Tremblay. And he's like, no.
I'd rather die, actually. Let Tedesco be the Pope. As long as it's not this fucking guy.
I'm already having a crisis of faith. The last thing I need is this guy to be Pope.
Yeah. That'll put me in the gutter. Absolutely. Don't do that to me.
So Lawrence is just like fed up with having this conversation with Bellini. So instead he just goes straight to Tremblay here. And he says, like, I dug up everything. No, he didn't dig up everything yet. He just calls him out first. And one of my favorite, I was laughing out loud at, I should pretend this conversation never took place. And Lawrence just yells, but it has taken place.
Yes.
You lie.
This goes full Shakespearean all of a sudden. But it has taken place, sire.
And there's such a pause. Like, he gets a little bit down the hallway before Lawrence yells at him.
And I'm like making it a little like boyish. He is like fully like yelling.
Like you said, it's fully Shakespearean at that point.
He's so tired. He's so mad and he's so tired.
All he has is like matter-of-fact speech at that point.
But it has.
Oh, sir, but it has.
Yeah, that was probably the best line of the movie.
I don't know why I completely forgot about it, but I was dying laughing about it when I was watching it. I was like, I had to pause it because I was like, wait a minute.
What movie did that
what
just take place
What
in?
am I watching?
All of a sudden, you're in a different movie for a second.
Yeah. I had to check to make sure I was still watching it.
Okay, I did laugh out loud a couple times during this movie, I will admit.
Oh, yeah. There are funny parts. There are funny parts, but it's like, I was going to open with that line, but I was like, I don't even know if that line means anything out of context. Even in context, I don't know that it really means anything, but like...
It's the delivery.
But it has taken place.
Lawrence, it's so funny too. He immediately just turns this into like, I'm going to dig up the paperwork. I'm going to get the receipts. I'm done.
Yes.
Yeah, he said, wait there.
Yeah.
This whole movie is just everyone having conversations and then doubling down on their original opinions harder.
Yeah. Nobody changes their mind ever.
Except for the end, every person in the room changes their mind, but pre that.
Nobody changes their mind until the moment it's important that they change their mind, and then everybody flips on a dime.
The rest of the movie, everyone's like, interesting, because you say that, I feel even more strongly about this.
Yeah.
Interesting you should say that, actually.
Because now I disagree harder.
He uncovers everything on Tremblay, and Bellini just really gets on his ass about it.
Put it back.
Bellini's just, yeah, he's like, nuh-uh, no, you didn't do that. If you did that, we're gonna have big problems. You didn't do that.
Which
And
also
But I
crazy, by
have.
the way. Yeah. Crazy to be like, after you hear all of this, nuh-uh. Hey,
everything from the rest of the movie is just Lawrence being like, but I did.
yeah.
Also, let's not forget our queen that barely speaks during this whole movie, but she's in almost every scene.
Sister Agnes?
The one woman in this whole movie. Especially in this scene. There's like 2 scenes where she goes up to a door, puts her ear to it, and then does absolutely nothing.
It means nothing.
That one, especially when he breaks the seal on the Pope's hospice room or his actual bedroom, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
She like literally goes to the door and then decides, that's not my business. I don't want to be involved in this now that I'm close enough. I can't.
Yeah, now that I have to make the decision, I'm actually not going to.
I'm not going to. Upon second thought, I'm leaving.
No. Yeah.
It is not. It's like the opposite of Chekhov's gun. There's just no fallout to her seeing the door.
Nothing.
No.
Shout out Sister Agnes.
She's a real one.
This was the point where I was like, this movie's not, like, Adeyemi's already out. It's not going to end with Tremblay. I feel like they didn't do all this for us to end up with Tedesco. Bellini's clearly, like, not getting there and also becoming a bad guy in this movie.
Weak.
And we haven't seen Benitez in, like, 45 minutes.
He kind of
I wrote down it feels like it has to be Benitez, because why the fuck else was he in this movie?
It feels like they presented him like that one meme of the guy who's doing this. Like, he's there in the beginning and then he just slowly keeps fading out into zero opacity by the end.
Yeah.
Because where did he go?
And then fades back in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even fades back in.
He pops back in.
At this point, I thought it was going to be Lawrence. Like, I was almost sure it was going to be Lawrence. And
Lawrence makes his first, like, big move here and actually brings his findings to everybody.
Regina George, same scene from Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Same exact scene.
Put them side by side. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to edit them side by side because it is literally her standing at the top of the hallway with the pages from the burn book.
Yeah. I feel like that's how we're deciding the new pope.
It's very funny here. We get Sister Agnes's big moment where she tells everybody what Tremblay did with the girl and Adeyemi. And another great line is Adeyemi just pops up and he's like, Judas!
Yeah.
See, that line, I was like, I caught my breath. I was like, Matt, that's like probably in this context the worst thing you could call someone. I was like, Oscars all around.
I loved that part. That was probably in the second half of this movie, that was probably the part that I enjoyed the most.
But you still loved it in a silly, goofy way, and I was loving it in a serious way.
That's what I mean. Like, it was just, some of it was just, like, so absurd. Like, the way things were falling into place was outrageous. Especially, I mean, like, he brought in his ex?
Yeah.
What a crazy move. What a insane thing to...
I'm telling you. It's reality TV.
It's like ancient Roman conclave. Like, I feel like they were pulling this shit in, like, the 1000s.
Yeah.
After this, we get the scene where Bellini kind of pulls Lawrence to the side and he's like, hey, it's you, dude. You're going to be the Pope. What name are you going to choose? And I was like, why? We're so obsessed with the names.
Nick, I want you to do a table read of this as Bellini.
Do I have to shave my head?
It's you, dude.
It's you, brother.
But everyone else is like Shakespeare actors, and then it's you doing that voice specifically.
I think it would have played.
I think it would be glorious.
My reaction in this scene as Bellini would have been incredible when this is where they actually get bombed.
Yeah. Did you think
Come
it was
on.
a
Come
good
on, Emma.
sign from God? Wait, you didn't love this was the part I thought we were talking about earlier. You guys didn't love this part.
This is so ridiculous. In all that's happening, they thought what they needed was more.
It's the God. It's
I don't know.
God.
I feel like we're past the plagues and bombs part of
He was
of
either
history.
saying, Lawrence, you're meant to be the Pope, or Lawrence, you better not. You better not. And he was saying, Lawrence, you better not.
That felt like an extreme to me.
I took it as Lawrence realizing he shouldn't be, because instead of dealing with this, he like left it out of his hands and didn't deal with it in the moment, and he realized like, oh, I literally just, my only decision I've made so far was literally a bad one. Because he didn't know anything about this, and then he just got bombed. But I think it's like they like ended the whole second half of this movie, where it was just like, what? And what if we also had
and it was
bomb?
Great, and I loved every second.
But no one got hurt.
I thought it was like his inner turmoil of like not wanting to be the Pope, and this was kind of like in his head it was just really the no in bomb form, you know?
If anything was making him like double down harder and not wanting to be the Pope again was this bomb.
Yeah.
And then they just take us back to the little auditorium again. That's they were like, this space needs its real moment. Tedesco kind of uses fear-mongering as a response to this, and like literally starts talking about a religious war.
Yeah, that's the only part I didn't love of this movie. I just thought it was a little bit like, okay, you're hitting it a little too on the nose with Tedesco's behavior of what current politics is looking like these days. It's the only, it just felt a little...
they were beating you over the head with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, functionally that's why the bombing happened in the movie, was so that they could set up this moment where like there's a vacuum and Tedesco like clearly can't fill it, and Lawrence doesn't want to say anything, and then you get Benitez just looking like Jesus in this moment.
Truly.
They made it, they didn't even try to hide that. They were like, you're gonna look like Jesus here. And he kind of calls them all fake bitches.
Yeah.
He's like, you're all fake. And I don't even know if I want to be here, to be honest.
I don't like a single one of you.
You guys are fat, fake ass bitches.
How fucking funny would it be after he goes through this whole speech and Tedesco says all that? Tedesco just like blew him out. Just won the election by a
I would
landslide.
love that. That's like the kind of shit I want. That's what I thought I was like going in to see coming into this movie.
I would have loved it.
I would have loved that.
I wouldn't have. I liked it just how it was.
And you're allowed to.
It would have been so fucking funny if it was just like all this build up and it's like, Benitez has arrived. Like the whole movie we're waiting for him to like come out and do something, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have spoke up an hour ago.
They gooned us, guys. We got gooned.
And then they decided this wasn't enough twists and turns for this movie. We've kind of been hearing about this health problem with Benitez the whole movie, but it's kind of a non-issue.
It's a back burner thing.
Yeah, it's not real. It like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you find out that he's intersex. What a way to end the movie.
Crazy.
This whole sequence took me on such a ride. First, Lawrence, no relief, and no one's ever looked as relieved as he did when Benitez was when they like were all clapping for him being Pope. Then when they said you might want to go talk to him, we went to a clinic. I was like, is this going to be a horror movie? Like, is this guy severely mentally ill and you just put someone that's like completely like
Hannibal
unwell?
Lecter. Yeah.
Yes.
He's like
Yes,
a paranoid schizophrenic.
That's what I thought the twist
Mhm.
was coming, and it was like too late for him to do anything.
Mhm.
And then when the intersex twist came, I was so deeply relieved that he wasn't a paranoid schizophrenic that they just had put as the Pope. It was quite a roller coaster.
My boy ain't crazy. He's just got ovaries.
He just
Damn, that's how I describe myself too. I'm not
identify with
crazy. I just have ovaries.
And then, you know, they decide we do need one more scene for this movie. So they put a turtle on the ground.
Yeah. Aw.
And
It was nice.
Emma, what was your takeaway from the turtle scene?
What
were they trying to tell Eminence McCoy in that moment?
I think that Lawrence decided not to say a word, so he found, and I think the turtle represented his peace that he was finding and he was protecting. And then he saw a group of girls leaving, and he thought, women really are people too. If you have ovaries, you can have valid opinions and thoughts.
This is so crazy.
And that's how it ended in my mind.
Yeah, I mean,
what did the turtle represent for you?
It felt like him like going back to being a managerial role almost, just being like, this is what I am. I'm just a guy who puts turtles back in the water. I'm not a pope.
I wish that was my job. I thought it was just like things slowing down for him again.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're finally at the end of this chapter or whatever, and he gets to do whatever the hell he wants again.
He gets to not be bombed anymore.
Yeah, well, in his mind. The turtle just made me fucking angry, though. I'm sorry. I was like, what? We don't need to be fucking artsy about this. I was like, we can just end it. I was like, I don't need a symbolic ending for the Pope movie. The Pope dies, they elect a new Pope. Okay? We know the Pope. We know the Cardinals are catty bitches. And that's that. I don't need a turtle to symbolize anything, actually. Get out of my face.
Let that turtle be a turtle.
I'm doubling down on my previous opinions. I want more turtle scenes.
Hey, listen, I love a turtle.
I agree.
Should have been a tortoise.
Terrapin.
Yeah.
I guess I would like to know what you guys thought of this movie going in and how your opinion changed throughout and after.
I feel like I was expecting, I don't know why I was expecting to like it more, but I kind of was like, well, clearly I'll get it because I was raised Catholic. Clearly I'll know what's going on. But
finally some representation of Catholics.
God. I mean, what? Hello? No, I was just kind of like, yeah, okay. Like throughout, I wasn't floored by anything. Again, it just like Emma, your comparison really kind of is putting things into perspective of it's just kind of like an elevated reality show.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I had had that going into it, and like that mindset, I would have liked it a lot more. But I was really expecting an artistic masterpiece, and I was just kind of like, okay, by the end of it.
Totally. I kind of don't know what I was like anticipating before I knew Oscars nominations. Like there had to be some merit that made it worth watching within it. And I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I don't know. I just love people high up in power fighting about things that I'll never have to think about in my whole life. And thank God for that. It's all like Succession's the same. Succession and Conclave so similar in tone
Yeah.
in some moments. And I love them both. I love people just having really tense conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like but it has taken place is the I'm the eldest boy of
Yes. Yes.
yeah, I agree. It had like the pedigree of clearly like when you put anything in the context of something like this, I don't want to say archaic, but like old and important, it feels like immediately the movie's going to have some veritability to it. I know the novel was huge, so like that's a big pull for this movie too that I'm sure a lot of people read and wanted to follow along with that. We've talked about him at length because of the menu, but anything Fiennes does, you kind of have a good feeling about going into. You know that it's at least going to be like he's going to keep it interesting regardless, and he usually picks a good script.
He did, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie probably was a really, really fun read as a script. I think, again, I think they kind of, I don't know, I've kind of shared my feelings on it, but I think they let it get away from them a little bit as this movie goes on. But I don't know if you guys read, like, Leonard Maltin's a movie critic, and he's just like one of those people that I find myself every time he writes something, I'm either like, he's spot on, or I'm like, that's such an aggressively bad take that I still enjoy reading it. But his wrap up on this was a number of critics have labeled this as a glossy pulp fiction or high class soap opera. No one disputes the professionalism on display in all facets of filmmaking. All I can say is that the movie held me in its grip from start to finish. My wife doesn't buy the resolution and feels that it negates the story, but I disagree. I had a great time watching The Conclave, and I predict that it will be a crowd pleaser. So I feel like that kind of covers both sides of it, where I'm his wife and I'm like, the resolution and the way things kind of went down towards the end of it negate the story a little bit. But I feel like Emma's like, he says people have labeled as a high class soap opera, which is kind of what we talked about. The reality. I feel like if I went in with that mindset, I would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, like I feel like it's a movie that's good to go in just like, if I was telling someone about it, to go in, just go along for the ride and just like, don't overthink it and just enjoy it, I guess.
Yeah, it's just drama. Like, it's not.
Yeah. I do have a fun fact for this movie.
Hit it.
Did you know there was a live table read of this movie with a group of comedians, Io Adebri, Josh Gad, Jason Mantzoukas, Patton Oswalt, Brett Goldstein, and BJ Novak, and some other people did a whole table read of this entire movie.
That's the most predictable group of people
to
do this table read, I feel like. If you told me it was a group of comedians, every one of those people, as soon as you said that, every single one of those people, I was like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yep, that makes sense.
Speaking of Jason Mantzoukas, if you guys don't watch Taskmaster, you should, because he's on the current season and he's a delight.
I do not. I don't even know what it is.
It's a British game show.
Oh, I know what it is. He's the celebrity lookalike I get a lot.
Really?
Yeah, when I have my beard grown in, a lot of people will tell me I look like him. Which
I think it's literally just because of the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it very well may be. But I gotta say, some people like apologize about it. I feel like it's not. I feel like he's not a bad looking dude.
He's not.
Why is that more rude that they apologized with the
Yeah.
comparison?
Yeah, what are you implying, actually?
Like, I prefer Oscar Isaac, but I'm not offended either.
Who did I just see that Jason Mantzoukas dated someone that I was like really surprised about?
I'm so curious.
I
Let's
don't
see.
know. Listen, a funny
Oh.
guy can pull anyone.
Connie Britton. Is that not so random?
What?
I
did
don't-
not know
Very
that.
random.
In my mind, she's like much older than him, which is probably not true. They're probably exactly the same age.
How old do you think he is?
47.
He is 52.
Oh,
Oh.
God. And Connie
Yeah.
Britton's probably 62.
Yeah, that's really not bad at all. Let's see. Connie Britton. 58.
Oh. Sorry, Connie Britton. I aged you. See, I don't know why I knew they were going to be like the same age, but she just seems older.
I don't know why I keep thinking of that clip from It's Always Sunny of Dennis going, "We're the same age," to D.
All right, guys, the moment we've all been dreading.
Oh no, I haven't thought about it. Come to me last.
I feel like for me, I feel like it has to be Benitez.
I'll just go based on merit and past roles of Ray Fiennes because I've probably said it for another movie and not that I'm like itching to pick it for this one, but I guess.
Yeah, I think it's Ray Fiennes for me too. He's
He
just
just has enough
tortured
cachet.
enough. Just tortured enough in this movie.
I'm trying to like spin it in my mind that he's got a little bit of his Grand Budapest Hotel role in there. Like I just have to think like that's what's under all the weird ropes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys watch Ted Lasso?
Yes.
No.
In my head, Benitez was just like
Oh
the
my-
future of Danny Rojas.
Danny Rojas. Oh. That even he kind of looked familiar, and it might have just been because he looks like Danny Rojas.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Danny Rojas.
Danny Rojas. I just saw him in a commercial for something. Good for him.
Yeah, he's doing like Football Is Life commercials.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie was my choice, but I've had more enjoyable watches.
I really want to play back the sound of you just going.
Emma, did you have any food from this? There was some.
Yeah, they had some soup.
Mm-hmm.
All
They had
right,
some-
soup.
They had some. Probably gonna make some soup this week. Didn't they have spaghetti in one part?
Yeah, I think it was the first dining scene when Tedesco's talking to him. They have spaghetti. I know that at one point they're definitely making like little gnocchis and what was it, like maybe tortellinis? It looked like.
Yeah, I will do some type of soup, maybe some type of like soup with pasta in it.
Pasta fagioli.
Yeah, a little minestrone. Is that how you say
Mhm.
minestrone? Is it minestrone or minestrone?
Minestrone.
Minestrone.
It depends on who you ask.
Not Italian. 0% Italian over here.
Me too.
Congrats.
Thank you. But yeah, that's it. That's it on food. It did look I liked watching them prepare the food in this movie.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah,
nice
that
little
was good.
peaceful part of it.
It was.
I know. It felt like they did more of that, like towards the beginning of the movie, where they had these like lingering shots that were like really nice, and then
Because they weren't focused on the trauma then.
Yeah,
There was no bombs.
Yeah. There was no bomb. Wow, we were
Right
so
on
far
right
away
side.
from the bombs in those scenes.
Yeah.
I was different then. I'm gonna go watch
anything we're
some of
missing?
this. I don't think so. I might go watch some of this table read.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it online?
It says I saw a clip of it on Instagram. That's how I knew, but I don't know if the whole thing is on the internet, but I know there are clips of it on online, which that's probably all I need from this is a good minute and a half clip of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be a long thing to dive into.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're all wearing. Wait, I'll send you guys the link after this. Io has her normal clothes and then a nun.
Oh boy.
A nun hat on.
Love it.
All right, anybody have a good quote to take us out?
Emma, I think you said you had a quote, question mark?
I do. If you feel confident in your quote, go for it, but I do have one.
No, you can take it.
All right. It's a serious one. Sorry, everyone. Although we sisters are supposed to be invisible, God has nevertheless given us eyes and ears.
Wow. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, see you next week.